Thank you very much for joining me on this Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to get a look at the earthquake we had yesterday and where I think we'll get our next named system popping up. I want to look ahead to that. Very important. A lot of questions about when we are going to get dawn. Now, let me get to the earthquake first. This was yesterday, just before midday. No tsunami was detected on this. I want you to know that I'm always watching this stuff from volcanic activity to earthquakes to the weather. Got you covered there. That's my background. So watching all of that. This quake was roughly about 4.9 in magnitude near Grenada and Trinidad. Now, again, still getting in a lot of that data, maybe 5.2, maybe 4.7, but roughly 4.9. No reports of damage out of this. The depth was about 80 kilometers or 50 miles. That's good. That's kind of on the deeper side, which is some good news. You want them deeper. So again, no tsunami detected, but I'll continue to monitor this area to see if there's kind of those aftershocks or just general earthquakes. I got you covered there. But now let me switch to the weather, and then I want to look ahead to when Tropical Storm Don may eventually form. Now, here's what's going on. This is a weather community. I was going back and forth with a lot of you yesterday in the comments, which is great. We had that big blob here, right? You saw yesterday's video. Huge blob. It was a tropical wave, but again, I wasn't seeing any signs of development, and then it ran into the dry air I was showing you yesterday. It just kind of fell apart. It's still a tropical wave, but again, not very organized, but we've got active weather here. It ran into that kind of dust. You know about that dust and that dry air and started to fall apart. Now, in the Central America, we've had those areas of flooding. Belize, once again, central, southern Belize back through Guatemala, Nicaragua, we've had some heavier rain. So I'm going to highlight that in a moment. Cayman Islands, we got a chance of some showers. I'll dive into that forecast. I'll dive into the forecast for us in Jamaica. And again, overall, I'm going to take a look at a lot of forecasts as you hang with me and look ahead to when we could see that next named system. Now, this is what I was talking about. Here's the tropical wave. You see on the map that orange shading? This is a snapshot of what's going on in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, way above our heads. That's the dry air. This tropical wave rolled right into that, plus all that dust around that a lot of us have been dealing with. Thinking of you if you have some breathing issues because they've been worse, and it helped that blob fall apart. With that said, still some of those scattered showers that are around. So watching that, the broader picture, watching a lot of activity in northern Gulf, Bahamas, northern Bahamas, and just to the north, and then up through Bermuda. And I want to get into that with a computer model ahead. So let me start here. I'll get wider. I want to get into the Eastern Pacific, and I want to look ahead to where I think is the next spot for some development. Let me take you through today. Now, this here, again, it's a weakening tropical wave. Not all of us are going to get the rain, but scattered showers, Eastern Caribbean. Watching out for some downpours in Central America, especially Guatemala and Mexico. This is through tomorrow night. Tomorrow in Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we could get some spotty showers. My friends in northern Venezuela, spotty showers as well, but a little quieter overall as we work our way into Sunday. Now, let me take you out in time. I just want to zoom ahead. Okay, so that was today and tomorrow. Let me look ahead to what's next. This is by Wednesday, so really jumping ahead, more rain in the Eastern Caribbean possible. So that's our next tropical wave. So trying to give you a kind of heads up so you can plan ahead. So we have one tropical wave today, although it's weakening. Then we catch a break. Then by Wednesday, the next tropical wave moves in. Not seeing that one developing, but down the road, there is that potential of development. So again, Wednesday will be the next day we'll be looking forward to together. So you can pick a spot on the map where you already get a feel. Again, watching some of the rain, Eastern Caribbean, Bermuda, it's going to be active nearby, northern Gulf, some shower storms back through Florida, northern Bahamas, and then this here in the Eastern Pacific, lots of development, and I'll get into this further. I want to show you the computer models in this. I'll break down the development chance. This is through tomorrow, but again, Guatemala, parts of Mexico seeing some of the rain, northern Bahamas, and then again back through Bermuda especially seeing some of the rain. This is through tomorrow, and then as we work our way into Monday, we'll stop the clock as we go forward. This is by the time we get into Monday afternoon. Still watching the Gulf. Again, not seeing any signs of development here, but it does have my attention just because we've seen these areas of rain in the Gulf of Mexico, and that water temp, as you know, water temperatures are so warm. 29 to 31 degrees Celsius. We're talking 90, 91, or pushing the upper 80s to near 90 in spots in the Gulf. So I am on top of that for you. Now, as far as the rain goes, a lot of blue here in the Eastern Caribbean. There are some brighter colors. I don't want to dive into it too specifically because, again, a weakening tropical wave. We could have one island that gets these brighter colors, that gets a quick 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches. Millimeters and inches got you covered both ways there. And then another island not too far away could get next to nothing. nothing. So that's how it goes in these tropical waves. It's not one kind of contained area of rain, but the chance of rain is higher today. This is a 2-day total through tomorrow. This is a concern though. Mexico, Guatemala, even down through Costa Rica, but especially Guatemala and Mexico, we are going to have some spots that get over 100 millimeters of rain. We've had the flooding here. I know you've been sharing the channel a lot in Guatemala and Mexico back through El Salvador. I do appreciate that because I am concerned about my friends over here for those downpours, especially with the terrain. Mudslides have been an issue, so I'm watching that. All right, when could there be some development? About 2 weeks ago, it might have been longer than that, I was talking about the outlook for July. Early July would be relatively quiet. That has panned out. That's exactly where we are now. That's exactly what's happening. Later in July, I expected it to be more active. Because here's why. Late in July, there's going to be a lot more moisture out there just in the atmosphere. So storms, it'll be easier for them to develop. So I'm looking at a strong tropical wave, the potential of that, somewhere in the time frame of July 22nd to the 26th. And there are some signs that that could develop. The environmental conditions are simply right for that. So looking ahead as we work our way into the Eastern Caribbean, a strong tropical wave could eventually be a storm. And the next name on the list this season is Dom. There's been 4 systems already. There was an unnamed system in January that rolled up into Canada, then Arlene, Brett, Cindy. So if something does develop later in July, the next name is Dom, but it does look like all those tropical waves coming off will be stronger by the time we get into later July, and I am seeing just the conditions right, I guess, or maybe not right, for development as we swing down the road. So Eastern Pacific, you see these blobs here, one right here. Again, these are developing, lots of action here, and that's why parts of Mexico and Guatemala, we've had that better chance of rain. It's just active overall Central America and back toward the Eastern Pacific, and a high chance of development of both of these areas. Now I'm watching it from California south. California, we had tropical issues last season. These waves, though, themselves, watching the Baja, generally the models are pulling them away. I always keep an eye on Hawaii down the road because sometimes some of the moisture tries to hang together, but as of now, the water out here is pretty cool, so they'll strengthen and then eventually weaken. All right, let me get into some of the forecasts. Belize, as we take it through today, higher chance of rain, not as much in our northern zones. We'll see some, but it's mainly central, southern zones that better chance of getting some of the rain. As we work our way into the Cayman Islands, again, spotty showers the next few days. We need more rain in the Cayman Islands. Rain chance isn't super high, but we will see some showers. We've had a couple the last few days. Jamaica, same thing. Isolated to scattered showers today, tomorrow, and Monday. We're kind of in between. The tropical waves that move into the Caribbean have been weakening. Same thing up through Cuba. The Bahamas, again, not a lot. Best chance of rain will be the northern Bahamas, as I was just showing you. Turks and Caicos and the southern Bahamas, a little bit drier. Haiti tomorrow, a better chance of the spotty afternoon storms that could lead to some isolated flooding. Very hot, lots of dust around. Watching the dust in the Dominican Republic. A 40% chance of storms today and a 50% chance across the DR as we get into our Sunday forecast. Puerto Rico, rain chance a bit higher today because of that tropical wave. Not a guarantee of rain, but a 50 to 60% chance of some rain and storms today. Same thing generally as we get toward the United States Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Rain chance higher today. No washout, but higher today. Keep me posted on what you get or what you don't get as that day goes on. Anguilla, tropical wave nearby, so 50 to 60% chance of the rain today, then the rain chance gradually dropping off. I mentioned Wednesday, we'll see that next tropical wave moving in. St. Martin, Saba, Statia, we get near St. Bart's, so just looking at some spots again. Today, that chance of rain is elevated. The broken tropical wave that continues to move through. Same thing, St. Kitts and Nevis, I was highlighting that earlier. As we work our way toward Antigua, Barbuda, rain chance 60% today, 40% chance tomorrow, a 20% chance on Monday. So before the next tropical wave moves in, the rain chance goes down. Dominica, rain chance about 50% today, 50 to 60% Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Dominica today. Rain chance dropping off to 40% tomorrow. St. Lucia, rain chance 50 to 60 today, a 40% chance as we work our way into our Sunday forecast. And in Barbados, again, an elevated chance today, gradually dropping off tomorrow. And Monday would be more of the passing variety of some of those showers. And then we'll keep an eye on Wednesday when that rain chance will bump up again. Rain chance 50 to 60 today. St. Vincent in the Grenadines, down through Grenada, tropical wave kind of falling apart, but the rain chance elevated, kind of bouncing around the next couple days in Grenada as far as our rain chance is concerned. Trinidad and Tobago, same thing. Anywhere from about a 40 to 60% chance of rain overall, but a higher chance of rain again by Wednesday. Guyana, rain chance 60% today, 50% chance tomorrow and Monday. It's been a little bit drier. Some of this action is lifting to the north. We haven't had as much rain in Suriname, for example. So watching that. Curacao, again, another spot that has been in between. Rain chance only 20% because as that tropical wave marches into the central Caribbean, the rain chance is lower, or it falls apart, keeping the rain chance low. 10% chance today in Aruba, 20% chance Sunday and Monday, and that generally includes Bonaire as well. So again, the tropical wave weakening, but there is some rain around Central America, watching that flooding, watching over toward parts of Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, keeping an eye on the flooding. Active later this month. That's when things are going to pick up again. I mentioned that tropical wave late July may try to develop as it moves into the Caribbean. And of course, monitoring the earthquakes. I'll keep you posted on that. I cover a lot on earthquakes as well on YouTube on the channel Earth QC. So thank you for joining me. Keep me posted on what you got going on with that tropical wave moving in that flood potential in Central America. And I'll watch out for the development down the road of Tropical Storm Don. Have a good Saturday.